a problem with me calling him a wanker. He is a wanker. If he doesn't want to be called a wanker, he should stop being a wanker. And if you go and run around saying, I'm a griefer, yeah, fuck you, I'm a griefer, you can't be like, oh, mate, don't upset me by calling me names. Calling him a wanker isn't verbally abusive, Ark. He is a wanker. The guy is a wanker, bro. If you want to run around shooting PvE players and getting your kicks off, you're like, the PvP community cannot complain about PvE players calling you names when you grief them. I don't give a fuck. But the guy was even being a dickhead in his stream. Streaming is outside of the video game. Ark, I'm honestly very surprised to hear you being like offended by someone getting called something. Like, that's honestly blown my mind, Ark. That's honestly blown my mind. I really like you as well, and you're British, so that helps. But the PvP community can never be complaining about softness. By the way, you guys, like the PvP community, are the reason now you can't loot bodies. That's completely ruined the game. But it's because of all the actions of all these griefers. So now you're trying to imply that I'm tilted or whatever, but you can't complain if people call you wankers or whatever when you are being dickheads. And you can say, oh, I seem tilted or I seem angry. I'm not. I'm not, I promise you. Bro, Ark, I really like you. And
So let's take a look at what full loot used to look like in Star Citizen before it got taken away. We're going to enjoy the history here. And also the fact that this video has 1,500 views. I never expected to get that many, but, you know, it did. Oh, look at that. Awarded 25,000 AUEC. Wow. I didn't know Star Citizen paid for griefing. So I picked up his FS9, but then when I looked on his back, I realized his backpack was invisible and I saw he had a railgun. And I'm just like, oh shit, this guy has got full subscriber gear with an FS9 and a fucking railgun. His name was Djako or whatever, but I don't know who the fuck he is. Anyway, so we're gonna just skip ahead a little bit. So there's two ways of doing it. You can either take off your undersuit or you can take off your all your armor. Since the game was giving me a lot of trouble taking off my undersuit right here, so I just elected to take off my helmet. See? And go from there, unfortunately. So bugs happen even in the past. So anyway, I couldn't just quick loot him like I wanted to because my undersuit was bugged on me. It wouldn't come off, so I just had to take all his stuff like normal. But there you go, boys. I mean, that's a documented thing right there of, you know, full loot PvP in the game. And then, of course, what makes this one special is that it's subscriber gear. So if this is the video, if this is the air quote behavior that has made this decision, like if I Defanos am personally responsible for them making the decision to introduce this type of, you know, recovery system, I'll be more than honored to wear that badge. As I'll wear that shit like a badge of honor for the rest of my fucking life. Because it proves that players like myself and others that are demonstrating that if we can do something in the game environment, we will do it. And do it efficiently and effectively, right? Apparently that's making a lot of game developers nervous. And then, of course, there's the legality of the fact that that dude is not going to be able to get that armor back unless he melts it and repurchases it in the storefront or waits for the next patch. Because I tell you what, that armor sat in my inventory for the duration of the entire patch cycle. I never wore it. I just took it. Which leads me to my final point about the system, right? Yeah, you know, what are we doing with the loot that we loot? And we're not using it. We're keeping it like trophies in our fucking inventories. That's what we're doing with it. Because most of the shit y'all wear is trash anyway. So, you know, it's like... That's why I use the joke that your Jordans are fake. Which brings me to like my whole, like I messaged Buzz about this actually, now that I see him on the screen here. But it's like, you know, I'm 50-50 about this change. You have to acknowledge the fact that, you know, it's against the core concept of what the game's supposed to be. And if you can't do that, then you're being intellectually dishonest. But at the same time, you have to recognize that, you know, it is a solution for subscriber gear, right? But that brings me to my point. I suggested in the past that we should have blueprints and crafting to give meaning to the other gameplay loops, such as salvage and mining and hand minables and all this other shit, to get people to engage in those loops. Instead, they just did this. So I don't understand why they would do this outside of just hurting PvPers. And that is, in my mind, ultimately what this comes down to. It's about hurting a certain demographic of PvPers. When you look at the grand scheme of PvP in the game, all this does is ensure that people can respawn and get back in a ship and get back into the fight, you know, in a decent amount of time. That's all this does. And then, of course, there's the final point that if you have a system like this, right, and you go and you own your armor, you own your guns, and it's all account-bound stuff, then you can literally, you know, essentially pay your way out of being full looted. Which is, I really, that's what the main complaint is. And the thing is that people won't put that shit in the words like that. They won't vocalize it like that because, again, people are afraid of getting blacklisted in one way or another, whether it be from the community's stupid bullshit and their stupid belief systems, or if it comes to the company, thinking that you know, if that kind of feedback is a brand risk and all that other kind of shit, right? So, you know, this is why we're at where we're at. It's pretty hard to fucking vocalize against something, right? When the majority of you are scared to even vocalize against it because you're scared of the social consequences of fucking doing so. Which enables the bad behavior at the company. So, anyway. I think there's a better way to go about it, is all I'm saying. But at the end of the day, this is what they're going to fucking do, regardless of what we say. And on top of that, you know, the grenade launcher is the only weapon, power weapon sold in the storefront, which is why it was, you know, hammered on as heavy as it was. You know, the ammo being removed from your chest and your backpack, I'm okay with. I'm not okay with it, you know, being removed from your weapon on death. Especially if you have to loot the shit now, right? Unlike the fucking railgun, right? Where the ammo's still on sale, just like the rocket launcher, still on sale in the stores. You know, there's not going to be a full wipe when this patch drops. People have railguns. And, you know, they're going to come into the game and they're going to see, oh, well, my fucking grenade launcher's used, so let's throw it in the fucking trash pile, right? And then they're going to pick up the fucking, the railgun and know that every time they die, all they have to do is reload their ammo for their power weapon, right? So why the fuck are we allowing this for the railgun and the missile launcher and not for the grenade launcher? And I'll tell you why. I just did. It's because the goddamn grenade launcher sold in the storefront, unlike the rocket launcher and the fucking railgun. That's why. It's done to mask a fucking disproportionate reality when it comes to the way that marketing has affected our game environment. And this is a blatant example of that. So again, we'll see if that feedback is fucking listened to. I guarantee you it won't be. And also, just for the lulz, Like this is like what you're seeing right here. This is what all of you salivate over. This is the salivate. This is the juiciest fucking thing you can get. This is the pinnacle of Star Citizen PvP, is getting hold of and killing a guy, a wallet warrior who has subscriber gear on that is irreplaceable, right? In a full loot environment. That's what yeah, and now that you know this has been taken away from you, and then of course the even shittier part for you is that most of you are never going to get this on video for your channels. This is like the rarest fucking shit you can get. Well, not armor wise, but this is the rarest PvP kill and looting aspect. This is the cream of the crop when it comes to this element of Star Citizen. Now it's gone. The only thing killing a player's for at this point is their fucking ammo. CIG is trying to devalue PvP. They're trying to devalue the reasoning why people do what they do. Slowly turning the game more into a PvE game so they don't have to worry about PvE servers. Alright? That's what they're doing. It's all mind games, it's all smoke and mirrors, it's all meant to fucking get y'all to go down a certain line of thought. Alright? So I figured that if you know, in this moment, right now, in Star Citizen, where everyone is literally coming to the realization that CIG is saying one thing and doing another, that CIG is not going to fulfill the promises that they kept, and that was evident with me with the F8 and the F7A. Again, two other things y'all said I was wrong about. So you better fucking pay attention to what I have to say now. Your feedback only matters in the context in which they want to hear it. If you give feedback contrary to what they've already preordained and decided in that fucking boardroom, it will not be listened to. And that has been documented on my channel for the last 8 fucking years. So when I say this company doesn't listen to your fucking feedback, it's a factual statement. And anybody, friend or foe, that tries to say otherwise, I'm going to call you out for it. Alright? Straight up. There is no excuse anymore for this. If everyone's starting to realize that it doesn't matter how much they cry about full loot now and they're still going to do it, does your feedback matter? Go ahead. Ask yourselves that question. And you can look like this fucking guy. In fact, all of you are looking like this fucking guy right now when it comes to the context of Cloud Imperium games. Here, I even put the sound effects for you. This is all of you right now. Especially after seeing this. All right? So, I don't play with this shit, guys. Alright? I am a savage white dude. And I tell how it fucking is. And right now, 4.1 is going to be nothing but railgun spam. You know, everything's okay, Defanos, because you have to loot the railguns. You have to loot the grenade launcher ammo. Get the fuck out of here, guys. I was okay with a lot of these changes. Up until we get to the point to where, oh, we're just going to do things to mask the problems versus actually addressing them.